Nurizma Insecticide is an in-furrow only application, meaning that your planter needs to be equipped with an in-furrow system. We also recommend, if you're using starter fertilizer, that a Dosatron unit is used to inject Nurisma into the in-furrow system.
A Dosatron can be attached to accurately meter our 1 ounce use rate of Nurisma. The Dosatron is a wonderful tool that allows us to meter accurately the low use rate that Nurisma takes to kill corn rootworm.
This unit is one of the most economical and easy way to install on your unit and be able to inject your insecticide. The unit will run you about $1,200. It will come set up like this with this tank, stand, Dosatron pump, and the plumbing hardware. Today we are going to start and install a Dosatron from start to finish, so you can see the easiness of what it is involved in putting one on your planter. This fitting will go on below this valve, which is going to be your pressure side from your pump. Will go into this area. We've got the inlet one done. We will do the outlet, which will go here and go to your manifolds. We will install a 90-degree fitting so it brings it down a little easier access. Okay, those items are installed. Then out of our bag of the parts that you will get, we will add on this unit, they're going to use 1-inch hose. So we will use the 1-inch fittings to install. Into our couplers that are going to couple up male and female there. This unit is what we call the 215. It actually has agitation, so there's an extra pump on here which will recirculate into the tank to keep everything suspended. And then there will be a regular plug-in that you can plug this end into and then go to a power source on your planter. On this side of the unit, there is a mixing chamber, which is a basic filter. So we just put it on there for some products to screen a little bit more. There's a gasket in here. And the screen, which will be something that you will definitely need to clean out as far as your pre-season or winterizing. And we'll just screw on there. And then this bracket will go on here to mount the Dosatron right here on the back once the Dosatron is up and in place.
Dosatrons are relatively easy to install and very easy to set. Once we have the Dosatron installed onto the planter according to the manufacturer's recommendations, we will need to set the Dosatron meter accordingly to the calculated use rate of Nurisma along with the carrier volume. It's easily done by adjusting the valve on the Dosatron unit. I recommend folks do a small batch of Nurisma to help calibrate the system. Do not fill up the tank completely full of our Nurisma and water solution. We want to mix up about 20 acres worth, go out and plant that 20 acres and see how close our system is set. We will make some adjustments after that first initial calibration on our acres planted. We also need to remember that Nurisma needs to be mixed at a 1-to-1 ratio minimum with water for the Dosatron to accurately meter the product. After that, we should be set to plant corn for the rest of the season. We realize that there's extra equipment needed to make an in-furrow application. That's why BASF has an equipment reimbursement program for growers that purchase Nurizma Insecticide. On top of that, we also understand that there are different in-furrow systems available, and our equipment program is available for any of those systems that a grower chooses to put onto their planters.
We're going to talk a little bit about your pre-season readiness for planting with the Dosatron and everything. There is a check valve underneath here that we are going to take out that definitely needs to be done each spring to make sure you do not have any debris. Simple of removing the first one, which your hose is going to be on, the second one, which holds it in place, then carefully get a hold of it, pop it out. It's going to look like that. Make sure there's not a bunch of debris or anything inside of there. Make sure spring goes back and forth easily. And then if that's all good, reinstall it. Put that nut back on and your other nut with the hose hooked up back onto it also. And then make sure when you clean out your tank and get that ready for planting that you have the right settings that you have on your Dosatron for the percentages that you want to put out. And fill the tank, get your main tanks ready to go, and get ready to start planting. When you are ready and have the tank full and you're ready to, before you start planting, the best thing is to turn the yellow handled valve on top to the off position and hit your button on the 12-volt pump that is your agitation pump, and that agitate for 5 minutes before you get ready to go planting.
Before you start the first day of planting, consult the label to understand what rate you're targeting depending on your row spacing for Nurisma. Adjust the injection rate on the Dosatron by hand for that targeted rate depending on your row spacing. Make sure you mix Nurisma Insecticide at a 1-to-1 ratio with water. So one of the key things with Nurisma is prior to use, once you've mixed it in the Dosatron, we recommend an agitation for a short bit to get the Nurisma in solution. The movement throughout the field of the planter sloshing back and forth is enough to keep it agitated. If the planter were to sit for an hour or more, we recommend that you turn on the agitation and get that product back in solution. One of the good practices that we recommend also is at the end of the day when the planter shuts off is to flush the system with water and clean that Nurisma and water completely out of the system for it to sit overnight. Or if you were to have a rain delay and it was to sit for a few days to a week, make sure that you flush that system before you start application the next time you go back to the field. Another best practice for Nurisma Insecticide is to start with a fresh batch each morning and make sure that you flush the tank at the end of the day after you're done planting, as the planter would sit overnight.
Now when you're done planting and whatnot and want to get ready for fall, the best thing to do there is to flush the system thoroughly with water and whatnot. And then we put the quick cams on where you can quickly take the Dosatron out, move it into the house, warm area or whatever, and store it that way. Or if you don't have it set up that way, another way would be is get some RV antifreeze or whatever and run it through, pour it into the tank, run it through the system until it dribbles out the tubes on the bottom, and you should be good to go for next spring.